Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us for Cooking with a Coastie, the show where we try to teach you some tips and tricks to how to liven up your menus, maybe use a few things you have laying around. My name is Chief Culinary Specialist Benjamin Murray, and today we're going to be showing you how to make a savory sausage and cheese bread pudding using just some day-old bread, some things you should already have laying around. We're going to throw a little bit of butter in the pan. I've got about 2 tablespoons here just to get it started, just to get to help get this sausage, all the fat out of the sausage to start rendering out. So, all right, so we're going to add our ground sausage, but you can use whatever kind of sausage you like. I know when I was underway, I was on a 270, and we would always have leftover hot rolls or leftover loaf bread. So this is just a good way to use some of that stuff up, in a different way, and also get a new menu item out of it. And you're going to start noticing some brown bits in the bottom of your pan, and then the bottom of your SJK as well. That's not burning, that's the good stuff right there. That's all that flavor. And we're going to use that later on. So don't worry about it if you see that start forming in the bottom of your pan or on the sides of your SJK. That's good stuff, that's all flavor. And we want to try to get this as broken up as possible, just so that we'll be able to spread it throughout the bread pudding so that we don't have large chunks in a few places and that's it. Alright, I think we're just about good there. Alright, so if you'll notice, I have a pretty good amount of fat left in the bottom of the pan. I want to save all that because I'm going to saute some onions next, and I'm going to get all this fond, all this good flavor off the bottom of the pan with these onions. Okay, hot pan. I'm going to use a slotted spoon right here to add this ground sausage to our bread cubes. And this is day-old bread. Obviously 2 day-old bread would work as well. You can use fresh bread, you can use focaccia, whatever you have laying around, that'll be fine. Now I'm going to turn the pan back on to about a medium heat, a little lower than our medium high that we were browning the sausage off in. And I'm going to grab our small diced onions, and we're going to try to scrape some of this fond up as these onions cook. We're going to go until these onions are translucent, until we can kind of start seeing through them. So I'm just using onions here, and I'm going to use a little bit of fresh parsley as well. Bread puddings are blank canvases. You can do whatever you like with whatever you have laying around, I would say. Alright, that's we're just about there with our onions. So again, I'm going to take these straight from the pan with all the fat that we have left. And I'm going to put these right into our mixing bowl, our large mixing bowl. Next we're going to add our chopped parsley to this. And I had parsley laying around. I think it's going to give it a nice fresh flavor. You don't necessarily have to use fresh parsley. You can use any fresh herb you have laying around. If you don't have fresh herbs laying around, if you're on a cutter, you're deployed, and you don't have fresh herbs, you can use dry herbs. That's just fine. I'm also going to add some shredded cheddar here. I've got about a scant teaspoon of salt I'm going to add in here. Our sausage is already a little bit salty, so we won't do too much here. And I've got a little bit of ground black pepper. So now we've got all of our ingredients in the bowl here, all of our dry ingredients. We're going to finish this off. I have about 6 eggs here, 6 whole eggs that I've beaten up, and I've got about 2 cups of half and half. So we'll mix that in here. Mix these together, and I'm going to just pour that right over top of our bread mixture. Now here's the important part. We want to fold this in. We don't want to break up, because as soon as this liquid goes in, it's going to start getting into that bread and it's going to want to break up. So we want to fold this in so that everything is coated and the bread absorbs all of this liquid. But we don't want to get in there and mix it up too much and get too violent with it, because then it's going to break up all of our bread. I have a half shallow that I've sprayed down. I've sprayed this down with just a vegetable oil, a regular pan spray. We are going to pan this up right into our pan, where I have a convection oven at 325 with a high fan, waiting for this to go in. If you have a conventional oven, you want to go to 350. And it's going to look like it fits more than this, or it's too much bread for the pan. Don't worry about it. You're going to press this down a little bit. It's going to make sure that we don't have any tunneling or any holes in our bread pudding. It'll come out in nice pieces without a whole lot of holes in it. And don't worry about pressing it down too hard. You don't need to press it down too hard. You just want to basically get it in there and get it pressed down so that it's got bread pudding in every inch of the pan. which we have. This is going to go into a waiting 325-degree convection oven with a high fan, and it's going to go for about 45 minutes to an hour. For best results, I would saran wrap this and then throw it in your refrigerator overnight. You'll end up with a better product because of it. So we're going to go ahead and throw this into our waiting oven, hot oven. Okay. There we go. So see how it did. Where I'm from, they'd say that's fit to eat, meaning fit for human consumption. See also good enough to eat. Thank you for joining us today on Cooking with a Coastie. We'll see you next time.